Rennie Good was a gifted soul, a writer and a poet and a mother, wow. She tried to hit an agent with her car, oh no! Pop, motherfucker, now she's gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease! You fuck around and find out it's what it is! Jeffrey Pretty was a Jewish homo. Started talking shit to protect a chomo. He was getting nicked when he pulled a gun. Bam, motherfucker, now you're gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease. Fuck around and find out what that is.
Hey folks, welcome to the program. How you doing? Do me a favor, will you please give me the finger? You can give me 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Finger me. Share this broadcast across all the platforms. One for this platform, one for this platform, one for that platform. Please share this program. Today's program is going to be one that's highly educational. It's something you need to know about that is not good news for all of us. By the way, today's program is brought to you by the fine folks at Gold Co. See the website? Jovan Loves Gold. JovanLovesGold.com. Here's all I'm asking you to do. Please go to JovanLovesGold.com. I want you to fill out the form. It's very simple. It's free. It doesn't cost you a damn thing. And request your free gold and silver kit today. It's education, folks, for your brain, for your noggin. You've got to understand why gold and silver is a very important part of your portfolio, even if you have no portfolio and you've never had a portfolio, because this is about money, baby. Now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver, and the digital stuff's coming. I'm just warning you, and that's why I partnered for a very long time with the folks at Gold Co. The digital stuff's coming. Just kind of an update when we talk gold and silver and minerals and stuff like that. If you sent me the email to my full name at Gmail about getting your own mineral claim gold and stuff like that and doing it right and, getting that land for like $30 an acre that you can control and own. Remember, you pull gold and silver and diamonds and stuff out of the ground, they're yours. You don't have to pay tax on it until you sell them. We're collecting them all. We're collecting your 12 answers. You should have got a second email. If you haven't, you'll get it shortly. Tell you, hey, answer these questions, and then we go from there. In very short order, you're going to get an email where I'm going to be talking in detail about some of these things. We'll do it over a Zoom, so you can join Zoom. I'll do it one evening so most people can attend, but you haven't missed anything. Don't worry. It's just a process, and it's a deep research process to make sure you get what you need. Now, here's what you need to know. Liberals just stole your presidential vote with an unconstitutional end run. That's a statement. Liberals just stole your presidential vote with an unconstitutional end run. You need to understand what this is. You need to understand how it affects all of us. You need to get in tune with this one very, very, very quick. I'm telling you. Very quick. Share this program right now. Well, because our future depends on it. We'll get started right after this.
Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County Full Forensic Audit Archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence.
Exposing the ancient secrets of royalty to grow giant fruit in small spaces. You won't believe how easy it is. Hey there, fellow gardeners. Have you heard about Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's new blockbuster book, Ancient Secret for Growing Giant Fruit in Small Spaces? It's taking Amazon by storm. This isn't just any gardening book. We're talking about ancient methods once reserved for kings and queens, now revealed to the world. Yes, you heard right. Royal secrets for your backyard. Struggling with limited space? No problem. This book teaches you groundbreaking techniques to grow enormous, luscious fruits, even in the smallest of spaces. Imagine tricking fruit trees to bear fruit in months, not years, and growing produce up to 100% larger than what you find in stores. Sounds like magic, right? Pulitzer dives deep into history, uncovering how nobility ensured bountiful harvests. Now, these time-tested secrets are yours to transform your home garden into a paradise fit for royalty. Whether you're an urban dweller, a new homeowner, or an experienced gardener, this book has something for you. It's packed with practical tips and easy-to-follow methods. From enriching soil to perfect pruning techniques, you'll be growing giant fruits in no time. So why wait?
Warning. The following program has been rated Dilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians? The elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd. Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, folks, here we go. We're going to talk about how liberals just stole your presidential vote with an unconstitutional end run. And yes, you said, but they did that in 2020. Yes. This is about something making it permanent. It will forever change the face of our country. That's the difference. Permanent control. Share this program right now. Lift your finger. Share it right now. Few bits of housekeeping. You know, in my program, especially on the weekend programs, because we do this, you know, every day, 7 days a week, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Easy to remember, 777. Many times I introduce you to new music and new artists to get to know them, you know, like 5 Times August, etc. I have a new band I want to show you. Now, if you understand the band and the music business, and yes, this is completely off topic, you can have good music and good lyrics and catchy tunes, but the artist just, you know, it's just that something that resonates with people. So it's important to get the band to actually represent what the song and the genre of music is about, right? They got to look the part. So here's a new earworm. I don't know if it'll catch on, but bless their hearts, they're trying hard.
2, 3, 4, 1.
We see that there's a wrong to be
are stronger when united. 3, we exercise our right to assemble. 4, that's when the proud and mighty start to tremble. Just in case you're wondering, just in case you're wondering, just in case you're wondering. Hey, hey, look this way. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
I think they nailed it. Not for a catchy tune. They nailed it by getting the members in the band to absolutely represent what this loony... They're going to do a tour. Looney Palooza. Yeah. What's that? You want to hear it again?
2, 3, 4, 1. We see that there's a wrong to be righted to. We know that we are stronger when united. 3, we exercise our right to assemble. 4, that's when the proud and mighty start to tremble. Just in case you're wondering, just in case you're wondering, just in case you're wondering. Hey, hey, look this way. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Yes, I know you're looking for where's the gong button. And if you don't get that reference, then you're just too damn young. Yep, it's rentally retarded. I know what you mean. But these are the type of people that are about to change our history forever. By the way, speaking of history, as soon as I leave this program, we're going to hop over to Locals, do another installment. Right? Another installment on Islam, understanding Islam. I'm going to tell you about the fellow that helped put together the Quran way back when, that basically said it was bullshit and a lie. It's an interesting story. So make sure you hop right over this broadcast to do that, okay? You'll see it at Jovan, Hutton, Pulitzer.locals.com. If you're on Rumble, you'll press the red join to join me, right? Okay, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. This is different than what they did in 2020. What they're doing is they're trying to do permanency. Now, I'm going to do this for a pop quiz first. When you want to control an election, and do not be stressed, let me give you an example. And you got to understand, this is how truth is. Lies soothe people. Lies placate people. Lies get people to go on about their way in oblivion. That's why the system hates people that tell you the truth. And that's why there's so many things designed to lie to you, because if they lie to you, they know, oh, okay, it's all taken. We're going to melt them to prison bars. Oh, he got this. President Trump's still president, even though he's not there. Right? Lies are made to placate you. Thank God you're worried. Thank God it stresses you. Thank God you're thinking about it. Because that's the uncomfortable nature of truth. Show me something uncomfortable that creates a problem for you that you're aware of. I will show you change attempting to occur. That's the only way it occurs. It's uncomfortable. Think of a butterfly coming out of its cocoon. It's ugliness, and boom, it blooms. That's got to be uncomfortable, unwrapping your beautiful body out of that little bitty thing. This is what it is. Truth is never convenient. Ever. It's never easy. It's never easy to look in the face of all of this junk going on. But here's the deal. You know, and it's only when you know. Yeah, childbirth. It's only when you know that you can do something about it, because you cannot push back on a corrupt system if you do not know how they do it to you. It is that simple. It's that simple. It's about everything in life. It's like people not changing their eating habits, and then they're wondering why they have diabetes and have a heart attack. And then something very uncomfortable happens, scares the shit out of them, and they change. And look how many years back they could have had a better life if they would have changed earlier. That's the deal. That's the deal. Truth is never comfortable. And so, yeah, what I'm going to talk about is going to make you uncomfortable, and it should. And that's a sign from your body inside, I believe, God telling you pay attention. Right? You're walking around out in the field on a hike. All of a sudden, you feel something in your shoe. It hurts. You keep on going. You ignore it. It hurts more. You keep on going and it ignores it. You hurt more. Finally, take off your boot. You got a hell of a blister. You could have dealt with it earlier. Uncomfortableness is how your body protects you. So you'll wake up and what? Do something about it. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to put it in chat. If you want to absolutely ensure you win an election, what's the one thing you must control? What is it? Yeah, the pain, everything activates your immunity. Your entire system, everything works this way. Warning signs are uncomfortable. Warning signs are uncomfortable. You ignore it, you can get in trouble. What is the one thing you must control if you actually want to control the elections? Some say the media. I'm talking literally about the election. What is the one thing you have to control? And it is not how the votes are counted. It's not. It's not the ballots, although it pertains to the ballots. It's not the polls, although it pertains to the polls. It is very simple. It is the voter rolls. That's it. You got to go back to the beginning. Voter rolls. Voter rolls. Voter rolls, voter rolls, voter rolls, voter rolls. If it's not on the rolls, it doesn't get the paper. If it's not on the rolls, it doesn't go through the machine. If it's not on the rolls, they can't play like it's really real. It is always and will always be the voter rolls. You understand that, right? I started screaming about this problem over 5 years ago. And the only thing that happened in screaming about it, teaching about it, etc., was we went from about 21 million bad people on the books to over 30 million bad people on the books. Voting isn't real. You're either a communist or a Zionist Jew. Yeah. Hey, Mahayu. Matthew with a Jewish name. Come on, let's talk. I know who you are. Come on, I sent you a link. I'm a Jew. I'm a Zionist Jew, and I want you. Maheo? Matthew? Really good, strong Jewish name. Come on. I actually know who you are. We've had a little dialogues before. And I love teaching moments. God makes these teaching moments. Although I'm going to call you out, you're probably chicken shit to show your face. But click the link, turn on your audio, turn on your video, and we'll have a discussion. Here's the deal, right? Everything's the voter rolls. Now, what were you told from 2020 on? Don't include me. What were you told from 2020 on? It's the machines. It's Dominion. We're going to melt them all to prison bars. Don't worry. The president is still the president. He's in. He's calling the shots. This is a sting operation. We irradiated and chipped every ballot. We know where they are. Don't worry about the voter rolls. It's like sweeping a dirt floor. It's Venezuela. It's Serbia. It's PCAPs. We've got all the evidence. Think about everything you were told. Everything you were told. It was an infiltrated Antifa call. I infiltrated it and we caught him and here it is. Q. Don't worry. Q, Q, Q. 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 By the way, Zionist is not a bad word. It's a compliment. It's a good word. Ignorant people think it's, use it at you, think it's a bad word. You should say thank you. Anyway, all of those things came rushing at you. The only thing that did not come rushing at you was paper and voter rolls. The only two things where you can get prosecutions. You clean up all the crap they have on the books and you get felony convictions. Now, even if you have great enforcement, even if you watch your election, you're sitting there, you're a poll watcher, you're watching your election. What is the one thing you cannot overcome, period? And you don't want to know what it is? It's the voter rolls. If that ballot gets in, it's going to be counted. That's why they said every vote must count. They didn't say every legal vote must count. They said every vote must count. So many people didn't pay attention to that, even through all my teaching, and Melania telling you every legal vote must count. That one word changes the difference. But here's the deal. If they can get the voter rolls packed and somehow, whatever way it is, somehow that vote gets in, it's not being undone. You understand that, right? Let me give you a really sobering message why. Let's say you are in Maricorruption County, Arizona. 80% of the people mail in ballots, and they send it. The way it works is the ballot packet, that's what comes back, not the ballot packet comes back. They say, oh, check the signatures first. Well, we know they don't do that. If they got any scribble, they're going to count it legal. So that doesn't work. Now, once they go, okay, it's good, which they're not going to do thoroughly, they have no way to do it. It fails 90% of the time. That's adjudicated by court, in court, admitting it fails 90% of the time. Nobody focuses on it. So now you got this ballot packet. What happens to it? They open it up. They take out the voted ballot, and the envelope goes this way to never be seen again. That means you cannot undo that vote once it's in the system. They know that. You can't undo it because you can't identify where it is. Even if you find out the voter is a dead voter, and you're right, that's called ballot cracking. Even if you find out the dead voter, the voter was dead, which vote do you cancel? See, in the United States of America, they weaponized the fact that we had secret balloting. Secret balloting comes from the 1800s, where in a town, 3 people or 4 people would vote. They didn't have to know who it was. They could just ostracize the people because they talk about it. Just, no, it's got to be secret. You don't put your name on it anymore. And the system weaponized that. But here's the deal, right? Even if somebody in your family who's been dead voted, you can't undo the vote. You know why? Which ballot was it? Who did they vote for? We have no mechanism to undo it once the ballot's in. We have no way to subtract the vote once it's gone through the machines, once it's certified by the county, once it's certified by the state, simply because you cannot tell. There's no way to cancel it. And there's no way to cancel it because a secondary loophole. Let's say you have 2 million votes and 1 million of them are bullshit and 1 million of them are legit. And you prove 1 million of them was done because somebody walked in and voted with a pillow. And that's the illegal one. But you still have 2 million. Which ones do you get rid of? Do you understand the racket? It's that simple. Once it gets in system, you can't change it. You got it? Once it's in system, you can't change it. So what's the only thing that's pre-election day in system? The voter rolls. That's it. It's that simple. Everything begins with the voter rolls. I've had this discussion directly with President Trump. We sat down for well over an hour and a half going through it. And even in his office sitting there, people around him, well, we're told you can't do anything about the voter rolls because they'll just put them back on. That's how bad this is. Now, when you understand that, you understand where the fight really should be to get it done. Because see, if you can fix the voter rolls, the rest takes care of itself through contracts. So it all goes back to this big ass database. Now, I'm also going to show you can see the facts. All the idiots that told you, well, we got it all. We're going to burn them to prison bars. We got the machines, infiltrated an NPVIC, and it's a 6-degree polyphenol normal polygamous fever. Any of that pay out for any of us? No. Total bullshit. Con bullshit. And here we are about to head into the midterms. I'm going to show you the midterms before they happen. Here it is. Pay attention. Don't tune out just because this is uncomfortable. Barack Obama, 69 million popular votes. Second term, 65 million popular votes. And by the way, that was bullshit. Hillary got 65 against Trump. Biden has that 81 million FU. Kamala came in election night 68 million, but 16 months after the election, they have still been adding to her. She is over 75 million, which says she's more popular than Hillary and more popular than any Obama twice. And you know that's crap. This is it. This is what they're doing. Let me ask you a question. Did they infiltrate an Antifa call to do it? No. Did a Dominion machine or an ESNS machine or any voting machine keep running for 16 months? No. Did they keep counting for 16 months? Well, they counted in some places for 90 months. They didn't even do that. Did Serbia and China keep an open connection and Venezuela to keep on doing this? No. So where did it occur? It occurred simply because they are in the asset we as a country own called the voter rolls. The sobriety of that message is, but I'm going to show you, it's about to get a lot worse. The sobriety of that message is that they have this planned. They've always had this planned. And they basically made sure nobody paid attention to it. Nobody paid attention to it. Not a single one. The whole system was designed to make you look away, think somebody else has it, think that it's going to get done. Don't worry about it. It's going to get fixed. Okay? That is the entire rig. So we've now basically waited to have this fixed for 5 years. For 5 years, we have waited to have this fixed when we knew everything it was. And from the election alone that put Trump in, nothing has been fixed. Not a single thing. Now, you think this is horrible, and it is horrible, but I need you to understand it. And the reason you need to understand it and look soberly, hey, test me, folks. Go right now to the Election Assistance Commission website. Don't turn away from this. That's what they want you to do. Do not turn away from this. You can go right now and you can test me, and you can look at the Election Assistance Commission, and you can see how they have continually been raising the votes for Kamala. Okay, now why would they do that? Look at these numbers. If you look at Obama, Hillary, and then the big FU finger sticking in the middle, compared historically, you can tell this is a crock of crap. You can tell, you can see it, folks, if you look at it historically. So what do? What do they do? Well, since you can see it historically, and then when you absolutely know they did it against President Trump, the only thing they can do is they've got to create something. See, you were wrong. Now, how do they create something to say, see, you were wrong? Well, what they do, as they've been doing for 16 months, is they keep on increasing the votes Kamala got. There's the proof. You can audit this on your own. You don't have to think I'm a tech genius and I infiltrated Antifa, but I don't have an email, I don't have the phone number, I don't know who was on it, and I didn't take any notes, and I took some post-it notes and I didn't record it and all this other shit. Here's your own freaking eyes showing you. Okay? Now, this is where the impact comes in. You've known this. What they stay away is from the convictions, from the paper. The paper is the only thing that tells the truth. You don't have to have a whistleblower. You don't have to infiltrate Antifa. It doesn't fucking take Serbia or China or Venezuela or Italy or anything else. The paper is the only thing that tells the truth. And if you look at the transaction of the paper, you see them stuffing in votes after the fact, a month after the election. Okay. So you kind of understand the landscape and everything we've been through. When it came down to it, and somebody says, what does it take to win an election? You got to control the media. Well, think on the conservative side. Quit thinking the obvious liberal rat bastards. You got to convince good people that the person telling them something is a good person, and that person who comes out of nowhere is going to tell you the truth. I'm going to show you a military person that it's almost impossible to verify their background and what they did. Came out of nowhere, literally came out of nowhere, somehow got attached to Tina Peters out of nowhere. Of course, Tina went to prison. Somehow got funding for traveling the city and going everywhere, telling them, hey, do this, here's the cost. And I'm calling out Cause of America. You got paid with Mike Lindell money. And Mike Lindell raised it up to get speaking engagements so it could go from the citizens to the lawmakers. Here's what the lawmakers heard.
So you have a centralized statewide voter roll that's on networked machines, servers. It has a public-facing internet interface. That's it. That's all I need to know that it's blown. That's a centralized statewide voter roll that was mandated by Help America Vote Act. They have these all over the country. And it's not just that you have a public-facing internet interface to it, but but multiple organizations have what's called an API, or an application programming interface. In other words, a machine-to-machine interface into that voter roll. And I'm telling you this because when people say, well, we have to clean up the voter rolls, it's true that they're not following the law. It's true that they're not in good faith maintaining them in accordance with Title 52 that requires that the voter rolls be both secure and accurate. That's a requirement imposed on the Secretaries of State who've received the Help America Voting Act and CARES Act funding to maintain those voting systems. What nobody's going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you, is you cannot clean those rolls. You're sweeping a dirt floor.
So that's how this con got to lawmakers. But this con goes on to this day. Let me show you something that went down yesterday. Dr. Frank is back on a road show. On his same road show, he basically said that he audited our work and it was a farce. That's Dr. Frank. Now, I've called him out about it. See, Dr. Frank made that statement, oh, we audited Jovan's work and it's a farce. See, the problem is when they released that statement, when Mike Lindell brought him on, we hadn't even finished the plan of the audit for Arizona. It was still a month out. Everybody knew we're going to audit the paper. Mike Lindell pays to have Dr. Frank on the road. He goes around and says, I audited. He says this. He won't come on and discuss it. I audited Jovan's work and it was a farce. There was nothing to audit. We hadn't even published the scientific reader. We hadn't even done the audit. Do you understand how this works? That's why these guys won't come on. They're still on the road, paid to tell you that. This is yesterday. And this is the guy that, if you look at his math, the way he found this super secret code is he looked at the census from 2010. And then he looked at the data from 4 Michigan counties and can tell you with 99.9% accuracy, here's every vote and everyone and how it was done. So you got to understand this. Now, why do I tell you this? Because you're now about to get your head kicked in because this op is still on the road, and I'm going to tell you how they do it. Here's what's going on. And I encourage all of you, reach out to Dr. Frank, any of them. They won't do it. Reach out to Dr. Frank, who is on the road right now, touring the country, and he just keeps on saying this. And of course, that's how the system do it. They just keep on repeating it, keep on repeating it. Why do they keep on repeating? Oh, it was a farce, it didn't work. Let me show you that methodology where it comes from.
Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
And you think you're being saved. You think your people basically bring people in because they're an election expert. No, they bring the person in so they can have a little pizza party that somebody else pays for. They insert their expert and nobody understands what they're saying or what to do. It's the con. Now, let me tell you why this matters. Here is what has just started coming down. Can you see my screen okay? I want you to look at red states, yellow states, green states. Okay? Now, what you need to understand is a new bill has been passed in the green states. A new bill has been passed in the green states. Now, the yellow states, okay, the yellow states are the one that of about 3 days ago were still pending. And the red states are the ones that so far nothing's happened. It's in process, but it hasn't been codified. Here are the states that have now approved it. I'm going to tell you what this is, okay? Now, the big states that make a difference, California, Illinois, New York, okay? The other states, in order of linchpinness. Now, get ready. You know, California is bad news. You know, New York, it's Mandami, bad news. You know, Illinois has been captured for a long time. That's Obama state. In the order they need them, the next state that has agreed, and this is in the order they need them, Colorado. Do you think it's anything that all these supposed experts come out of Colorado, every one of them? That they made Tina Peters the poster child for this, Colorado? So listen up if your state's been called. California, Illinois, New York, Colorado, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Virginia, Washington, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Rhode Island, Vermont, and District of Columbia. Okay? The other ones that are about to fall, they're getting ready to sign it into law: Arizona, Michigan, New Hampshire, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Now, what is this? Let me ask you a question. Does the state of California predominantly vote blue? Yes or no? Put it in chat. Does the state of California predominantly vote blue? I'm not talking in reality. I'm talking what comes through, and you bet your bippy it's blue. Same with Illinois. Same with New York. I know you that are Californian here, you know you don't vote blue, but the state keeps on going blue. So let me tell you why these states just canceled your presidential vote. Virginia was day before yesterday. Virginia enacted a bill called HB 965, which put into play, get ready, the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. NPVIC, the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. Now, what this is an agreement among the states that it does not matter how your state votes. If somebody wins the popular vote, regardless of how your state voted, if there is a candidate that wins the popular vote, then their electors must accept the popular vote that happened. Let me say that again. If between these big-ass liberal states, these big-ass liberal cities who packed the votes, it is now saying that, like, if you're in Mississippi, okay, and let's say if Mississippi goes this way, let's just use Virginia hypothetically. You're in Virginia. President Trump or whoever it is, J.D. Vance, wins the next election. But nationally, the popular vote goes to Kamala. That Virginia's electors are obligated to reflect what the popular vote was, not the state. Let me say that again. They are eliminating the Electoral College through an illegal, unconstitutional maneuver that I'm about to explain to you in detail. And that's why I have told you it is 100% about the voter rolls. They know it. Here it is. And think of all the people like the Dr. Franks of the world that have conned your ass continually and made you stay away from our work, stay away from the paper, and stay away from the voter rolls. Who do you think paid to have them travel to 475 cities? One person supposedly doesn't have anything, did 900 trips. Who's paying for that shit? What you thought was a defense fund has never been a defense fund. And so here's how it works. If your state, it does not matter how you vote, Oklahoma, it does not matter how you vote in Oklahoma. Because New York and the big popular states like California and all this stuff where they pack people in, they're going to get the popular vote. And it says whoever wins the popular vote, not the electoral college, is it. And here it is. Now, here's what has to happen, okay? I'm going to break it down. You look at your state. Spanberger in Virginia just said it. That's 13 electoral votes. It basically says that the electoral college votes no longer are what's about the electoral stuff. Remember, our founding fathers did this to protect us against populated bullshit cities. They were already dealing with it then. They knew this would happen. The big cities would do it. They need 207 electoral votes. That basically, they need 207 electoral votes. So if they get enough states to get 207 electoral votes, 270, okay, they get to do this. Virginia just signed. They're now up to 222 electoral votes that they have captured. Your state gave away your vote. 18 states and DC did this. It actually overrides the Constitution. If the Virginia elector vote for what the elector is and ignore the popular vote, the state gets to override it and says, no, we go with the popular vote. That's it. Our founders intentionally, through trial, trauma, and pain, and I'm calling it out, Mike Lindell, you fucked us. Mark Cook, Sean Smith, Altman, Clements, Dr. Frank, all those bullshit things, PCAPs, all that stuff, all the con that kept everybody away from the paper and the voter rolls. Spent a lot of money, make sure Mike Lindell's everywhere. You just fucked us in a big way. And that's why I've told you, that's why our run, we're telling you, we've got to go all the way through the end of 27 on this, because we already know where the midterm's headed. The very people you trusted that basically, look, this is yesterday. Jovan shit's a farce. This is yesterday. Who's paying these people to get on the road? And that's why they won't face me. That's why they've tried to take down me, because they know the paper does it. And here you go. This has accelerated so fast that the odds of getting it done are serious. Let me give you all the numbers so you understand it. Our founding fathers, in Article 2, second most important thing, they basically had to have something that balanced the power. And what they needed to do is they needed to balance the power between large states and small states, right? Because they had to prevent majority rule by larger states. They knew this was coming, right? And when you get, and that's why they give away, it's, hey, free this, free college, bring the illegals, put them here. That's the majority, folks. Our founding fathers, I believe, ordained by God, we did it right. And so they had to prevent authoritarian rule by a national level vote where big states could wield the power. And so what happens is they are end running the Constitution. See, the Constitution requires a 2/3 vote, both in the House, okay, and 3/4 of the state to ever materially change something like this. And what they did it on a technicality. They did it on a technicality. And basically, this is a really clever workaround that completely circumvents what our founders set for our country. I'm telling you, you've been warned this was coming. You were warned it's going on, and they still fund these guys going coast to coast. You guys in Conservative Inc. give these guys a platform. You think you're doing something good. Your fucking job isn't to have a pizza party. Oh, we had a meeting about election integrity. Your job is to get it right and to help your people fix it. And when you bring this crap in, you are paying for your own constituents to stay away from the only thing that matters. And here we are, baby. Here we are. This is a screwing of the system. This is an end run around the U.S. Constitution and the Electoral College. This is how you know all of these guys are in cahoots. Because what did they keep you away from? The paper and the facts. That's why they never really ever acknowledged that Maricopa ran in over 118,000 votes after the election. That's why they basically hide that all the election day votes were changed. And that's why they put so many people on the road and paid for them. Well, these guys are, oh, I'm just doing this out of the goodness of heart. I'm broke. I ain't making nothing. I don't have anything. But yet they did a 900 city tour for one, a 500 city tour for the other, a 475 tour. Can you tour 2 states if you're broke? Hotel, travel, all that shit? Pay your bills? No. It's because it's a con, folks, and you've bought right into it. And so what they do is they have undone the U.S. Constitution. By law, right now, by law, you send this to other people. You send it to Mark Levin. You send it to everybody. It holds no weight if it comes from me. Why? Because all they do is work to besmirch myself and my team. It has to come from you. You. That's the whole racket. If you don't make it so, and you still follow these people, we're being led to our death. Here's how it works. When you got states, just like Virginia did, they are committed by law to award their 13 electoral votes to the presidential ticket by the electors, not the popular vote. They have changed it. And to make this work, they've got to get to the point that they control, under these funky little laws. Remember, we have 538. That's the majority. They already have 270. They need 270. They already have 220. It overrides the threshold. It basically means your state, even if the candidate you did not want, let's say if this was a Trump thing, Trump wins Virginia, but Kamala won the popular vote. You understand what would happen? They get to that state now, by their laws, said it doesn't matter what the state said. It does not matter who the state chose. The national popular vote otherwise says this is it, and therefore we're giving our electoral votes to the popular vote. They could never get this done because it requires 2/3 vote in both the houses of Congress, and then it has to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. That's even higher than Congress. They could never get this through. And so what they did is they created this thing called the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact.
So yeah, Electoral College is stupid. But what can we do about it? I mean, can we change it? There's the
Do you think our founding fathers, you've got to understand, we are the only country in the world forged out of adversity, suppression, lawlessness, servitude, etc. Our nation got formed running from the shit of control by government. You've got to understand what America is. Everybody left that crap. We formed our country and we did it right. That's the insight that our founding fathers had. And they knew, okay, but we got to watch what we learned in these other countries, what we learned in the UK and everything else. You can't let the Londoners decide what happens for the rural folk. So we got to find a way, which was brilliant. That's why it's divine. It works to represent the people properly. You cannot let a big state that gives people homes, gives people monies, puts them in, lets them get away with crime, doesn't prosecute crime. Therefore, you want to go there so you can run your criminal enterprise, control everything. What do the left say? But the Electoral College. Here you go.
So yeah, Electoral College is stupid. But what can we do about it? I mean, can we change it? There's the National Popular Vote Initiative. Any state signing on to this compact would simply agree to award their electors to the candidate winning the national popular vote.
She is referring to the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, where a state pledges to award their electoral votes to the candidate that wins the popular vote. But currently, there aren't enough states in the compact to be effective. So until they have at least 270 electoral votes between them, the compact isn't in effect. And all those states, by the way, are controlled by Democrats. I know you're shocked.
Virginia signed it, 48 hours ago? Listen to Spanberger, ex-CIA, governor of Virginia, what she does when she signs it away and looks over her shoulder. They fucking laugh about it. They laugh about it. And you're right. If they can't win, they change the rules.
Is this legal? The states highlighted green in this picture have formed a pact to make it so when a presidential candidate wins the national popular vote, they win the electoral votes for all these states, which means that if they don't win the popular vote for the individual state that they're getting the electoral college votes for, they're still going to get them because they want it on the national level. This treaty is called the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. So let's say a Republican candidate for president, like Donald Trump, wins North Carolina, Michigan, and Nevada's popular votes, but doesn't win the national popular vote. It looks like they're about to join this treaty. So if they do not win the national popular vote, the electoral votes for those states will still get awarded to the other candidate. I find this to be disturbing, to say the least, because these jurisdictions that are currently in this treaty have 209 electoral votes, and once they hit 270, this will take full legal force. And part of the motivation for this is that presidents like George W. Bush and Donald J. Trump, on his first go-around at least, got in the presidency without getting the national popular vote. Section 10, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution says that without the consent of Congress, no state may enter a compact with another state. Currently, the winner of the plurality of statewide popular votes wins each of those states' electoral votes, but Democrats want to change that.
Now, I want to be very candid with you. Thune screwed us. This is the only little maneuver they have, and they think of everything, and I told you it. I want you to understand, every one of those bullshitters who told you, I infiltrated an Antifa call and it was domain, all smoke and mirrors. Oh, it's a 6-degree polynomial formula. I'm a mathematician, believe me. You can't verify any of these people's backgrounds. I challenge you to do it. And the reason they won't come on with me is because I can give you their backgrounds and I can call them out. And I can show their crap's bullshit. This was 100% enabled by Mike Lindell and team and all those other people that scream, it's Serbia, it's Venezuela, it's all this stuff. And a lot of it is done intentionally. A lot of it is done out of ignorance because they can't understand the difference. Now, how can these states wag us? These are the states with the worst voter rolls, the states that refuse under executive order right now to turn over their voter rolls. The reason they won't turn over the voter rolls, they won't get rid of mail-in voting, and they don't want ID is because they know they've packed it. Now what they've done is they realize their fucking party's dead. And so in this maneuver, they're banking on the states that have really perfected it, Illinois, New York, California. Well, you got to have enough in there that you got all this shit on the popular vote. and then they're agreeing for their state, we'll go along with what you said. You got to remember, Bannon was a guy that wanted to get rid of Trump early on. He's the one that introduced, as I understand it. Oregon's one of them. Here it is. Look, there's the states. Michigan's about to sign off. North Carolina's about to sign off. You see the yellow? Virginia fell yesterday. See the yellow? Nevada, Arizona, Hawaii, Kansas, Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina are about to sign. All they need is 270. I showed you that video. He said 209. It's up to 222 now. Every one of these people that you have been donating to, that have been, do they cover the audit and the real facts? No. Why? A lot of them are in on it. Most of them are just fucking ignorant, and a lot of them get paid. If you pay it, we'll put you on, and people are paying for those interviews. All these people came out of nowhere. Under the guise of election integrity, here it is. Now, we're not going to change Illinois. We're not going to change Minnesota. We're not going to change New York. We're not going to change California, Oregon, and Washington. It's ironic that the Tina Peters stuff, all that crap's out of Colorado. They needed that state to fall, and it did. Isn't it interesting that your supposed experts come out of Colorado, New Mexico, and Illinois? It's the machines. Antifa told us it was this, it was that, and that's where they all come from. What it means is it no longer will matter. If they get to this number, they're at 222, they need 270. If they get the rest of these yellow states, it's over. And it basically means it does not matter what your vote was in your state. If the national vote wins the popular vote, then the state is obligating themselves to go with the popular vote. This is a circumvention of our constitutional provisions. Article 2, Section 1, presidential electors clause. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislative thereof may direct a number of electors. This basically says, fuck you, Article 2, Section 1. And they've been massaging this. I tell you, they work different ways. They've been massaging this for a very long time. They've been pushing on it for a very long time. Article 1, Section 10, which is called the Compact Clause. No state, without the consent of Congress, shall enter any agreement or compact with another state. That's exactly what they did. Every one of these states just violated the Constitution. It says you cannot do that. This is the biggest flashpoint. This allows blue states to collude. And it supersedes your own state's constitution in part of it, right? Not just nationally, your own state. These guys that got in, let's just take Virginia. If it went red, but the popular vote is blue, it says it does not matter any longer how Virginians voted. It's over. Now, what they're arguing, well, it's never said you had to count the votes only in our state. That's what they say. Well, we're not We're not getting rid of the Electoral College. We're just setting a direction of how the Electoral College must vote. You understand these words? Look, nothing in the Constitution requires that the states in our state are based actually on our state. It doesn't have to be in-state results. We're not changing the Electoral College. It's still there. We're just going to direct them how they have to cast their vote. They're saying this doesn't require congressional consent because it doesn't harm any non-participating states. Okay, everything in gray is not participating. Do you think these blue states being able to decide who's president harms any of the gray states? Do you think it harms them? This completely changes the Electoral College's purpose, which is a federalist balance between states, not pure national majoritarianism. That's what it's called. Because they understood the big states would basically abuse this, which they have done. And they're basically doing this without using Article 5. And so what happens, this interstate compact will in fact change the presidential election outcomes. That's it. You don't have to have any other things. And this is what you get warned about of why do they continually say that not we're a constitutional republic, which is what we are. Why do they keep on saying this?
Extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Why do they keep on doing that? Democracy means it's how all the people vote, and it's based about can you get all the people to do it? Not what's right, not what balances, it overrides everything. That's why they did this. That's why they did this. And I'm telling you right now, you can see it. You can actually see it. If it was mail-in ballots that decided the fate, why was every report of the actual numbers of machine-folded ballots that came in a lie in every single district? Because remember, they have to spread it out. That's why it affects every single district. Why was hand folding a lie? Why was election day a lie and flat, not more? This is it. The paper tells what's up. Every bit of this tells what up. This is why I had to invent new ways to look at this, because it had always been hidden. It's crap. But what do? Here you go. I've been telling you right now, you follow Dr. Frank, fucking get off my airtime. You've already sold yourself out. You're already allowing yourself to be poisoned. They're bringing them to your cities. They're doing this on purpose. I want to remind you, I just want to use this one example. Is that okay? I want to use this one simple example, right? And it is because nobody actually looks at the numbers. And when you don't look at the numbers, okay, when you do not look at the numbers, you don't know what to, or I should say, how to fix this. That's the biggest thing. You don't know how to fix all this stuff. You never ask the simple questions about why are all these people on the road? Who's paying for them? Why don't you ask the most simplest of questions? Who's paying for them? And it's because this is how it got designed. They know you want to buy into certain people and certain things, but they require it. It's very important that you're not able to understand what really happens. They'll babble you with bullshit, right? They'll babble you with bullshit and lead you down a path. You think it's real, but it never was ever real. Never. This one person, I'm just using this example, pushing 500 appearances across the states. Here it is again. They won't face me. Now, let me just play like I'm Johnny Carson and Karnak. I'm going to tell you how the 2020 vote went. I guarantee you that this was done in 3,300 places, 154 precincts. Then you go, how'd you do it? Well, I looked at the 2010 census in 4 counties in Michigan. And that's how I know every single vote, and it was done by the machines. Now, that gives you a formula. You basically have a formula to understand, okay, see, everything's math. Everything is math. It gives you a way to audit the auditor. And so what they do is they can't give you hard facts. And because they can't give you hard facts, they basically dazzle you with bullshit. And the more technical it sounds, the more James Bond is. Dun, 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 dun. I infiltrated Antifa, got on a call the other day. And you can't verify it, but it just sounds good. Because that's what it would take. Because they don't want you to understand the fix. The fix is actually very simple, right? The fix is, honestly, it's simple. But when you understand and you forced them, you never asked. It was a 6-degree polynomial. Wow, I never heard of that. How does it work? Well, praise Jesus. And Jesus said, praise, praise. See my cross? I'm a Christian. And you forget about it. But then when you push for the facts and you run the math, can you determine exactly how the 2020 election came out and every vote that was changed? See, they don't require people to think factually. So aside from the fact, right? Aside from the fact that it only looked at the 2020 or 2010 census, the 2010 census, it looked at something from 10 years earlier, said, well, this is not enough young people, this is not enough this is not enough this. Then said, looked at 4 counties in Michigan, 4 counties in Michigan, and this is how I showed it was done. Now, here's the deal. At the time this 6-degree polynomial came out and got put on the road, and they started talking about it, all the reports of the elections weren't in. So let me ask you a question. How did you look at every single vote if they weren't even in and they hadn't been released? Because you said you confirmed it with 99.9% accuracy. See, people never dig. Never dig. And so when you understand the numbers weren't released yet, and you use only 4 counties and you use 2020 data and you put it into a mathematical formula and you ask a simple question, what are the odds of this actually being right and doable? 1 in 80 billion. So this person who proposed a theory that has a 1 in 80 billion possibility chance of even being right. 1 in 80 billion. Why did nobody ask, okay, how'd you get it? You only find out later. But where anybody, any mathematician, supposedly a person's a mathematician, been calling out forever, this is crap. There's no way this could even be extrapolated into a number. And it gets put on the road saying, this is the way it was done. This is the way it was done. The combined odds of that even being done is 1 in 80 billion. And even as yesterday, they still have them on the road. And all you can say, well, Jovan and them don't have it right. Go over that math again. The play has been this all along. They have backup plans on top of backup plans. And if they can convince you not to focus on the only thing that matters, the freaking paper and voter rolls, they've got it in the bag. Now, why do we keep losing this? Because people don't call them out. Oh, I don't want to be mean. Do you have permission to be pissed and mean if your country is being thrown away? Just a question. Put it in chat. Do you have permission to be pissed off and mean if your country's being thrown away? Do you think it's any coincidence fucking dink you never got the PCAPs? It was all bullshit, 100% bullshit, but magically it became about Tina Peters. And during the broadcast, which is about to be PCAPs, I'm going to show you PCAPs, the PCAP masters go, oh, well, I've been told I shouldn't look at Tina's stuff because it was probably stolen and illegal and I don't want to commit a crime. And it goes out to everybody. What'd they do? They threw Tina Peters' ass in prison. When it's promoted, we're going to show you everything everybody has. We're going to show you everything everybody has. Every single thing that everybody has, we're going to show you every vote. We're going to show you how it happened. We're going to show you each one they stole. We're going to show you every bit of this. Did anybody see those? No, they never existed. But what did that program become? That program became how to expose Tina Peters and make her look like a criminal. She didn't even want to be there, but she got on Mike Lindell's jet. What'd the left do? Well, she was running from justice because she knows she's guilty. You got to look back. Who enabled that? Mike Lindell. Who are these teams giving this advice across the country? Mike Lindell. Let me ask you a question. You gave to the Mike Lindell Defense Fund. There were 6 supposed groups going to help with election integrity. Who funded 6 groups with 6 different names? Mike Lindell. Why would you, if you know what's up, why would you need to fund different groups with different names? It's just a question. It's just a question. Why would you fund different groups with different names? If you have the answer, you've exposed it all, wouldn't you literally, I've got it, which we said, I've got it, we've done it, we're going to do it, here it is, and stick with it? Why do you have to come out with different names? Do you know why they have to come out with different names? They have to come out with different names. So you think a lot of people are working on it, etc. And there's a lot of good people volunteering in this. Now, the system doesn't necessarily know who's going to win. They don't. So what do? They don't know who's going to win. So what do? This isn't about judges. This is about facts. I'm not going anywhere else but about the facts, folks. We got to focus on the facts. How did this happen? They flooded the market with experts. Here is the guy that even before the audit was out and we had decided on how we were going to do it, says he reviewed it and was crap. How did Tina Peters get into this? A guy was invited into Lindell's team. He says, I need to find a perfectly great county with nothing wrong so I can prove my theory. Who did he end up getting to? Tina Peters. Do you think that's a coincidence, folks? The guys who formula that every mathematician in the country's used this stuff and says a 1 in 80 billion odds in there. What do you think of the odds that this guy crisscrossing the country, a former DARPA employee, what are the odds that he was able to get to Tina Peters to begin with? What are the, just help me out here. What are the odds? What are the odds that all of these people come from the same source? Does that not strike any of you as odd? And now, here we are, literally, here we are. You have Mike Lindell's been through court, all of this, admitted in court in front of a jury he never had the PCAPs. Never had the PCAPs. Never. I just got to ask you a question, and people don't, it's like they don't follow it up. But how can you miss things like that? How can you miss that it was never had? He admitted he never had it, but yet you still just go on and you ignore it. And that it's his people that he pays and puts on the road, but supposedly he's broke. In every one of these instances are his people. And then the very person who said, I infiltrated Antifa, becomes his second in command, gets Mike public. Can you not see just how this stinks? Am I alone in this? Tell me, guys, am I just off my rocker? This stuff happens every day in hundreds of cities across the United States. They go crisscrossing the nation, right? And it's all the same crew. The fucking lone raccoon tells you, well, I saw the PCAPs, I verified them all. Won't come on and talk about it. Mike Lindell in court says, well, we never had them. We never saw them. How does somebody like the raccoon tell you, well, I verified every one of them and it's right? How can you not do that? Same team, Mike Lindell team, same team, Mike Lindell team, Antifa call, Mike Lindell team. And here we are. We're now faced with their new weapon. We're faced with their new weapon. How big was this weaponization? I'm going to remind you of this.
Let me just say again what I said in 2016. There are honorable members of our intelligence, military, and civilian community in the government who understood exactly how corrupt Biden and the Democratic machinery is, was, and will be. This is really a sting operation. Contrary to what everybody else said, Trump knew this was happening. Eric knew this was happening and warned the public. I knew this was happening. However, I could not say anything about it. What happened was we watermarked every ballot with what's called the QFS block chain encryption code. In other words, we know pretty well where every ballot is, where it went, and who has it. So this is not a stolen election. On the contrary, we reversed the entire game of war along the lines of Sun Tzu, the art of war. And Trump was brilliant and still is brilliant at it. In the art of the war, you pull back, allow your enemy to make.
He says they put a blockchain on the ballot. And it basically said that, well, you know, the Department of Homeland Security printed every ballot for every state. It's bullshit. Totally not true. Look how many people bought that. So you stood down. All of this stood down is allowed these people to get there. What else?
He is indeed real, and I met him and his wife and petted his dog, and after meeting him a little while, I got another really bad feeling because I realized I had run into somebody that was a lot smarter than me, which is, you know, humbling.
That probably doesn't happen too often.
Which is humbling. And after I had a chance, I mean, he was extremely open, extremely cooperative. The man is a patriot 100%.
This is a guy, claims he's CIA. Mike says we can't release the PCAPs because of an order from 2007. And then Mike in court, under oath, in front of a judge and jury, says, well, we never had them. But this guy told you he inspected every one of them. And that's Mike Lindell team. Let me see. I think I have a few more.
Sensational video and photo evidence has emerged, exposing a factory in Guangdong producing 500,000 blank American ballots. The Gateway Pundit, an online news publication, confirmed that the video was provided by Vanessa A. Olivides, a third-generation member of the Chinese Communist Party.
Those printers that you saw in that story don't even set in China. Never been ever sold in China. But yet you heard the video, and that was it. And you took off with it.
Back and forth. Each one of them was an individual attack. And now we're going to show you again. So if you didn't watch Absolute Proof, go ahead and show us what we have here. What do we have on the screen?
So right here, when you see green, that is a successful intrusion, meaning they...
So, sold you that we were monitoring 175,000 locations, which means every one of them has to be online and communicating. Sold you, we know where it went back and forth. That is the epitome of a perfection of crime. Mike sold you this. In court, had to admit under oath, under penalty of law, it was never true. It was never true. But see, we like to be promoted. We like to be hyped. We like to believe everybody else has got it. And what it does is it makes you stand down. And when you stand down, you don't do anything. Because you think somebody else has got it. Nobody else had this. You had this the whole time. The entire time, you had it. Now, why does time matter? It's just like the GOP. You were screaming the ballots. This is why President Trump's bunking the system and not talking about the machines. Saying, we got to get rid of these mail-in ballots. We got to vote these rolls. President Trump knows what the truth is, but he fights this everywhere. But nobody ever audits this stuff. You think because somebody wears a cross or tells you they're a Christian that they are victorious? Right? Why? Why do you decide just because they're on TV, they're right? And here we sit, because they've covered every book. They covered every book, every play. They never let anything stand down. And this team that has traveled our nation, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cities. And here's the freaking from yesterday. Oh, I audited his work. What work did you audit? Which is why they won't join me. But what was it? We're going to get the PCAPs and show everything, right? We're going to see your, here. Don't listen to me.
These are the best in the world. These guys, and we're going to end up with about 120, the way it looks like. And you're right. We have over 200 politicians right now. They're representing over 30 states. And then we have all the media coming. And what we're going to do, Steve, is we're going to have like 4 different sections set up. One of them is, the first thing we're going to do is pass out the states to the cyber forensic expert. What I mean by that is the raw data, the packet captures and the data from that whole state. So we give it to, let's say, a group of 10 of these experts. Now, they don't know each other, and they're all going to dig in, and they're going to go validate this data. Then we're going to have another section where I've already had the data validated. I have it all, and the packet captures. It's going to call it a cyber center. To the right of the main stage is going to be all these computers where a senator can actually, or a politician can go up there, put in the name of his state, or put in a county, or put in whatever he wants, the whole election, and then out's going to come the real count, what really happened the night of the election. Now, he can take that, and he can go over to his own cyber guy and say, hey, could you look at this thing? Yeah, validate this for me. And they're going to validate it. He's going to go, wow. This is non-subjective evidence, everybody. And also, we're going to have another room where we're going to have these mock elections going on.
Non-subjective evidence. They're all going to go home with the actual data. Did that happen? This guy stood on stage confirming it. Is it any coincidence that all of these guys crisscross the nation, and then when you finally get to court with Mike Lindell under oath, he says, we never had them. Never. The document people keep throwing around as PCAPs is crap. Was always crap. Can even tell you the site they were created on. They were manufactured. And yesterday, here's this same team. And the only thing that came out of it is they bled you dry of your donations. They made sure nobody paid attention to the full forensic audit. When you got them hands down, you don't need to know how the fucking machine did it. When you show, here it is in black and white, it never went through the machine. And they ran them in a month later, and none of their numbers matched. You don't have to have any espionage, Antifa, Chinese, Serbians, or whatever. It's just a hardcore fucking fact. But if you focus on the machines, it's a misdemeanor because it's all voluntary. So what were they buying time for? This. Galen Ochicha. I'm searching this, and Lindell has apparently never admitted. We read you the court transcripts. Go back and watch the program. As we're doing play-by-play, when he's sitting in court reading the transcripts, he admits it. Gajan and Gisa, never been in my show before, right? Posted something 2 years ago with 3 views and got started in 21. Of course, you would put in there, if I found nothing. They're everywhere, folks. They're everywhere. That's the con. Here you go. Somebody's never been in my program before. Here you go. Mike Lindell did not allow himself to be fooled. Mike Lindell is part of it. Let me tell you why Mike Lindell didn't allow himself to be fooled. Because a half dozen of us were trying to communicate with him every day, back and forth in text. I just haven't shown the text yet. Here it is. You're being conned if these are really your people. He ignored every bit of it. That's not being conned. That's being part of it. And here's Virginia fell. When these yellow states fall, this order becomes the law of the land. And how many of you right now on your social media, like I went the other day, I looked at my social media, got rid of following Tucker, got rid of following the supposed CIA whistleblowers. There's no such thing. Stop following Candace. I just got rid of it because I don't want people, when they look at her, say, well, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer follows them. I got rid of it. And then you look on it in face value. A convicted crackhead is going to tell you how computers work and how PCAPs work, and he vetted it as all. But look at his team. You can't verify anybody on his team. Go take his team and try to find their backgrounds. You can believe whatever you want. You're an adult. I'm only showing you the truth. The reason they won't come on and discuss this is because I'm showing you the truth. And here is where we are. And when they get 40 more list, here it is. Attorney generals can't do anything about this. The only ones that can do something about this are you. This is called the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, the NPVIC. It is unconstitutional. They're doing it anyway. It says if you're in these states that are gray, but you see it's the populous, it's all the battle states. That's why they did it, folks. It says that it doesn't matter in your red state. It doesn't matter how you voted. These other states have decided, even if their state votes for a conservative, if the national vote shows it is a liberal, they're going to give it to it. And you see them doing this, and you have been told it's not the paper, it's a con, and you guys keep on supporting this. Your friends, when they look at your social media, see who you follow, and when they see you follow shit like this, and you keep on, you're undoing the country. Every person that shares, well, Antifa, here it is. They said, don't worry about Donald Trump. When you share that, you are supporting this junk. This is what they've been running out the clock for. They knew they wouldn't get suits. They knew you'd see it. They fought going. The only thing all of them have pushed back against unanimously is our work on the paper. Here it is. And get the shit off the voter rolls. I am sitting in President Trump's office going over this in detail. Say, President Trump, you got to get rid of the voter rolls. We're going through it in strategy. His support team sitting there. Susie Wiles behind him says, well, we're told they'll just put them right back on. I stopped the meeting with Donald J. Trump. I turn around. Here's Susie Wiles. Here's Devin Nunes. And I'm going, who told you that? Who told you can't stop the voter rolls? You can't stop them from adding them back. Who do you think it was? Lindell's team, because Lindell had access. All the way to the point, you've seen all the data. Here's the data. Here it is. To the lawyer at the time, which was Christina Bobbitt, Susie Wiles trying to get this together. My father just died. I'm holding off going to his wake, handling this on Thanksgiving. And they put Christina Baba on and says, well, you never did an audit. You didn't do a full forensic audit. Where does that come from? Now, it does me no good to show you all of this if you don't understand where it comes from, because even your own efforts undo everything. Now, how do I mean that? When people see that you still follow and believe these people, they believe you know what you're talking about because you follow it, right? So they believe you must know what you're talking about, or you wouldn't be following these people. You must trust these people. You have to understand it's your credibility that drives this. Do you not understand that? Where your own credibility comes into play? Your family, other patriots and you got to understand, this is how they trade off of you. This is how they trade off of your good name. I'm not quite sure how you don't see this, but just them seeing your name, supporting these people, they think, well, maybe I'm missing something because my friend here follows them. My friend here follows them. We got a shitstorm coming. And it's here on a horizon, and they're putting it in. We got people in prison, Tina Peters, in prison because she was introduced to this guy who wanted to prove his theory that has a chance in 1 in 80 billion being correct. We never got the PCAPs. There never was a cyber symposium because it was all to convince you PCAPs were real and to get Tina in prison. And Tina's in prison. And these guys still travel. I just showed you, and I'm just going to play it again. Here's what Mike Lindell promised. I'm showing you this. All of these guys are running for governors now. Here is what Mike Lindell continually promised you.
These are the best in the world. These guys, and we're going to end up with about 120 the way it looks like. And you're right. We have over 200 politicians right now. They're representing over 30 states. And then we have all the media coming. And what we're going to do, Steve, is we're going to have like 4 different sections set up. One of them is the first thing we're going to do is pass out the states to the cyber forensic expert. What I mean by that is the raw data, the packet captures and the data from that whole state. So we give it to, let's say, a group of 10 of these experts. Now, they don't know each other, and they're all going to dig in, and they're going to go validate this data. Then we're going to have another section where I've already had the data validated. I have it all, and the packet captures. It's going to call it a cyber center. To the right of the main stage is going to be all these computers where a senator can actually, or a politician can go up there.
Was any of that true? No. Then you hear the lone raccoon. All of you follow. I personally vetted it. I met him. In court, Mike says no. Never had it. And then the person that sold you, they infiltrated Antifa, and it was the machines, and they got it. They have no record of it. They can't really do it. Recently, running for Colorado governor, was 46th place in a field of 45. Got Mike, right? Got Mike. Did my mic change? I don't know why that
happens. Got Mike, public. They were almost $100 million in value when it came out. Here's Mike's right-hand man, the very person that brought you the Antifa call when asked about the full forensic audit.
So here's the thing. I want to point this out. For those of you that are Jovan fans, be a Jovan fan, right? But that clown got out there and said, oh, it's nothing going to happen. We have the secret bullet. Do you remember this before? Have you heard this before, Apollo?
Yeah, yes.
Don't worry, we're working on it. Then somebody sent me a video of him stealing the Erickson report, parts from the Erickson report, and publishing it as if it was his data.
Stealing the Erickson report. I refused to have a meeting over the Erickson report because it was bullshit. Right? Nobody checks this stuff. We had already published the fucking book. Oh, still in the air. I wouldn't take the meeting because the Erickson report is bullshit from somebody who doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. It was Pete Santilli that said, oh, Jovan, he didn't. It was Pete Santilli trying to set it up. I'm working with this senator. I'm working with this senator. It's real. I said, put the senator on the line because that's not what I hear. It was all bullshit, all lies. But here, I'll just play you the rest of it because it covers a lot of things. Here's Mike Lindell's second in command as he's running Frank TV.
So here's the thing. I want to point this out. For those of you that are Jovan fans, be a Jovan fan, right? But that clown got out there and said, oh, it's nothing going to happen. We have the secret bullet. Do you remember this before? Have you heard this before?
1 second. Do you know who the guy in the center is sitting there? Tig. That's the guy on the train that some terrorist was doing something and he took him down because he's a patriot. The way these guys work is they lure those people in because they're trading off of their credibility.
So here's the thing. I want to point this out. For those of you that are Jovan fans, be a Jovan fan, right? But that clown got out there and said, oh, it's nothing going to happen. We have the secret bullet. Do you remember this before? Have you heard this before, Apollo?
Yeah, yes.
Don't worry, we're working on it. Then somebody sent me a video of him stealing the Erickson report, parts from the Erickson report, and publishing it as if it was his data.
What?
And then he didn't take a call from Michael. Canceled a meeting he had with Michael. Oh, yeah. You didn't hear about this?
No, what?
So then he's bad-mouthing me for being out here. And I was like, where's Joe? He's going to save us. We trust Jovan working with these people. Let me explain something to you. Jovan could go sit on a stick, a jagged stick. He can go sit on it, right? The guy literally doesn't know anything about technology. You want to take this back? You want to talk about this kinematic audit? He didn't do a kinematic audit. He didn't produce a report. He didn't.
Do you think it's a coincidence that Mike Lindell's in was Christina Bobb and they're feeding this? There was never a report. You think that's a coincidence? Dorchin, thank you so very much. God bless you for supporting these election integrity efforts. Sit in the president's office and the attorney, which he fired her, he got rid of her. Well, you never did a report. There's where it comes from. And he ran for governor. He's going to run for governor of Colorado. Got his ass handed to him. Right? Literally, and it filled to like 46, number 46. Not even a blip. So now he's running for the chairmanship of the Colorado GOP. The very guy that brought you the story, infiltrated Antifa, has nothing to show for it. And this is how it works. All of this bought time. It's just like the GOP did sue. The GOP, we filed 72 lawsuits to get the paper ballots, right? Yes, they filed it the night that in the morning, the statute of limitations would expire. They filed it, and even the places that were being sued hadn't been served. That's the rack. That's the racket. That's the racket. And then you get people, Lindell Perry never admitted PCAPs. It's on the fucking record. Read the transcripts. Listen to the breakdown of court every single day. So if he never had them, what was the cyber symposium about? But yet the common denominator in all of this is that team being sent around. And here we are. If they get 2 or 3 more of these yellows, we will forever be ruled by New York and California. Now, let me ask you that question. Do you want to be ruled by New York and California? You're so lazy, you still follow these people thinking they have something to say. You won't even look across your social media, see if you follow them. That's the racket. Influence, 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 psyop, 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 never any proof. And you are told, don't look at anything with any proof. You're told, don't clean up the voter rolls, it's sweeping a dirt floor. Here's why. This is what's coming down the pipe, folks. And I kept on telling, and I kept on telling, and Virginia fell technically yesterday. They can't get it any other way. And thank God President Trump listens, because that's why he said, you're going to send in your rolls, we're going to verify the rolls. He listens. He no longer even says the fucking machines. But that's also why they want President Trump out. He can deal with facts. He can deal with it. One of the people on Lindell's team that got ostracized in the beginning for calling it out and saying the PCAPs were fake, what did they tell you? He was a traitor. He's sitting right here with you in chat. You don't even know it. But what they do to him and his reputation. This is a war. We've always been at war, and this is how the war is prosecuted now. Even you don't have to have a law degree that when the voting rules are voluntary and it's only a misdemeanor, nothing will happen. I don't find any of this as a coincidence. And more every day, I realize what the play is. They're all playing to take over the country. One side's doing its role of being the bad guys, fuck you, we're going to cut off weenies and boobies and change it. While the other side's, oh, I'm a patriot, I'm a patriot, I'm a patriot, I'm a patriot, I'm a patriot. Let me ask you a question. As this comes up, I'm going to put your chat on the screen. If you're on X, Twitch, or Facebook, you tell me, after tens of millions of dollars of media exposure and Bannon, Epstein's buddy, Epstein's consultant, you tell me which one of these claims was true. Get ready. I'm going to do for the lag here. You get ready. Every time there's a lie, lie number 1, lie number 2, lie number 3. I want you to call out the lies.
These are the best in the world. These guys, and we're going to end up with about 120 the way it looks like. And you're right. We have over 200 politicians right now. They're representing over 30 states. And then we have all the media coming. And what we're going to do, Steve, is we're going to have like 4 different sections set up. One of them is, the first thing we're going to do is pass out the states to the cyber forensic expert. What I mean by that is the raw data, the packet captures and the data from that whole state. So we give it to, let's say, a group of 10 of these experts. Now, they don't know each other, and they're all going to dig in, and they're going to go validate this data. Then we're going to have another section where I've already had the data validated. I have it all, and the packet captures. It's going to call it a cyber center. To the right of the main stage is going to be all these computers where a senator can actually, or a politician can go up there, put in the name of his state, or put in a county, or put in whatever he wants, the whole election, and then out's going to come the real count, what really happened the night of the election. Now, he can take that, and he can go over to his own cyber guy and say, hey, could you look at this thing? Yeah, validate this for me. And they're going to validate it. He's going to go, wow, this is non-subjective evidence, everybody. And also, we're going to have another room where we're going to have these mock elections going on every hour on the hour, these mock elections. And we're going to we'll go, hey, just in, let's go in where the mock elections are. We'll have the camera crew in there, and this will be live streamed too. But in there, we're going to show everybody, we're going to have a cyber guy in another room where he can't hear or know anything. We're going to do the flips just like they did the night of the election. And then we're going to show the whole public what a packet capture is. and we're going to pull them off the routers, everybody. When we do Arizona, it's going to be very interesting why Arizona won't give up their routers, because we're going to show you why they don't want to give up the routers. So we do this flip. We're going to come in, the cyber guy. We're going to pull the packet captures out of the routers, and then we're going to have a cyber guy. He'll read it, and he'll go, here's what happened. Computer ID, boom. Here's who did it. Here was the attacker. Here was the attackee. Here's how many votes.
17 lies in a row. Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. So see, you're either captured by the bullshit left or you're captured by the bullshit right. What they need is for you to put your faith in something that is a lie or cannot be proven. Because when it's hard facts about the ballots, they don't want to talk about it. And that's why they have not talked about it. But this has been the whole plan all along. I keep on telling you this. These states, you got to understand how critical this is. It doesn't even matter about mail-in ballots now. Because if they got them on the voter roll, they're going to count them. They get to use them if it gets into the voter roll. This is how high this espionage goes. I sit there with President Trump. He freaking knows it, but the people around him have been bought in. You see me speaking at things like this? Here's every lawmaker in the room across America. Here's Mike Lindell's team one more time.
So you have a centralized statewide voter roll that's on networked machines, servers. It has a public-facing internet interface. That's it. That's all I need to know that it's blown. That's a centralized statewide voter roll that was mandated by Help America Vote Act. They have these all over the country. And it's not just that you have a public-facing internet interface to it, but multiple organizations have what's called an API, or an application programming interface. In other words, a machine-to-machine interface into that voter roll. And I'm telling you this because when people say, well, we have to clean up the voter rolls, it's true that they're not following the law. It's true that they're not in good faith maintaining them in accordance with Title 52 that requires that the voter rolls be both secure and accurate. That's a requirement imposed on the secretaries of state who've received the Help America Voting Act and CARES Act funding to maintain those voting systems. What nobody's going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you, is you cannot clean those rolls. You're sweeping a dirt floor.
And why is this out there? Because it reaches the highest points of the land. The president has his entrusted team behind him. It reaches the highest point in the land. That's how far this crap and infiltration goes. And that's what the con is. That's what the GOP does. This is how they play it. This is how they do it. This is what kills us. It is not the left that kills us. You know what kills us more? Conservatives swearing they're a patriot, having contest of who can get the most airtime, not knowing their ass from a hole of ground, promoting bullshit so they get famous and kill everybody else. I'd rather have a liberal in office. I'd rather have a liberal in office that says, I am going to make your little boys, little girls, and we're going to butt rape them every day, because at least they're telling the truth of their intentions. But see, we got this system of lesser of two evils. Nothing makes a patriot except acting like a patriot and doing right. And nobody ever asks where the money comes from. Ever. You don't ask even the simplest of questions because you want to believe it. Oh, I'm broke and I can't do this. But I toured 400 cities, 475 cities, and still doing it now. Let me ask you a question. If you're broke, can you go on a 475 city tour? Put it in chat. If you are broke, can you go on a 475 city tour? And yes, they block you so you can't call them out. Now, folks, this has always been a war This is what you've got to focus on now. In your yellow states, you better get your ass in gear. The money comes from USAID and foreign interest, period. It's all to undo America. You guys in yellow states, forget Virginia. Virginia just fell. You have got to push back on this. Your state cannot become part of the NPVIC. I'm going to put it on the screen so you can understand what this is. This is their end game, right? You cannot allow this to happen. You cannot allow this to happen. If this happens, not only is it going to be a bigger fight, but now you know why these archives matter so damn much. It's the only proof we have of what they do. We're in trouble if this happens. And this is why I told you it's going to be a fight. Here is where they're going to fight this fight. But now all these conservative people, as here it is, this shit's being passed as they tell you, President Trump doesn't know what he's doing. He's loony. We got to get him out of there. Isn't that what the left said? This is the racket, folks. There is no left. There is no right. There is only we stay a free America or we lose America. That is all there is. And the writing is on the wall of exactly how they're going to do it. I keep on telling you years in advance. You have got to act. You act by letting your lawmakers know this shit's coming. Do not rely on me to write it. You write it. You research it. You have to take action. You got to do the hard work yourself. You got to be invested in it. You got to fight this hard. And everybody ignores this because they know that Americans won't pay attention because they have a short attention span theater, but they wear a cross and they praise Jesus, so they must be good. President Trump can't call all these people out. It's bigger than you can imagine. You have to call them out. You have to do your part to save our country. And if we don't, we're going to lose this. And that's why it's a republic if we can keep it. I'll see you over at Locals now.
Our courts are based on clear and convincing evidence. Want convictions? Want justice? For what happened in the 2020 election? Then we need your help. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The decision you make in the next few moments could decide whether we ever get our elections fixed or not. Here's why. Trump campaign and allies filed 64 different lawsuits. They all went down in flames. 100% of these cases were presented on "It's the machines," or "The machines changed the votes," or "The voting company executive said he would make sure Donald J. Trump would not win." They all went down in flames. Why? You can't bring theories to court as evidence. No supposed Zoom call or 6-degree polynomial math theory or census data is or ever will be proof of fraud. You can't bring theories to court as evidence. Here's why. In both civil and criminal law, the side making a claim carries the burden of proof, and prosecutors must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Without physical or otherwise verifiable evidence, a case cannot meet this high threshold. Physical evidence is the key. The question is, did anyone get relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The full forensic audit of Maricopa County, Arizona is the only evidence-gathering work which gathered relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election. Evidence so damning that the system, the deep state, and those who pull the strings of this country have fought to keep it hidden and have hoped to have it be forgotten to time. Almost $3 million invested in time, funds, and efforts to unlock that which the system wanted hidden. But now, that evidence is in danger of being lost forever. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. With the 2026 midterms coming up, the system is going to try to lame duck President Trump and then most likely introduce new impeachment proceedings. This is the evidence which will help win the war which is surely to come. We need to keep Maricopa County full forensic investigation and archive secure and ongoing. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We need your help securing the full forensic audit archives. Don't allow the only testable, objective, and reliable 2020 election evidence fall into obscurity. Millions were spent on getting it documented and tested. This is historic evidence. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County full forensic audit archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. Please donate now.